What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the Saturday slate for the Call of Duty Draftkings Stage 5 contests. Today we're going to be watching a matchup between the Atlanta FaZe and the Paris Legion for the first game. That's going to be the first game matchup, followed by Seattle against Florida and Los Angeles Guerrillas against the Dallas Empire. We're going to be discussing those three matchups here in this video. And if you're new to the channel, what I do here is basically I break down betting odds and betting advice for people who like betting on esports like Call of Duty on Draftkings and platforms of the such. In the future I will be supporting esports like Valorant, so stick around for that if you like that too. So yeah, you know where to find me. Leave a like, leave us a subscribe. Click that subscribe button, click the notification button so you get these videos on time before the matches lock, whether it be you're betting on DraftKings or Bovado. Make sure you press that notification button so you can get these videos on time. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the first matchup of the day that I'm going to be discussing, the Paris Legion against the Atlanta FaZe. And right off the bat, I want to say, just like Atlanta FaZe absolutely destroyed the London Royal Ravens yesterday, they're probably going to do the same against the Paris Legion. The Paris Legion isn't that great of a team, and they're down there with the London Royal Ravens as the bottom four teams. I do believe that nobody in the Paris Legion gives this team enough value to pick up as a contrarian play against the Atlanta FaZe. I don't think any of these players would do very good against the Atlanta FaZe. This team is just too good. So with that being said, I am going to fade the whole team. The line is sitting at a minus 1800 for the Atlanta FaZe. Humongous discrepancy right there. Paris Legion plus 750 underdogs. A very tall task they have ahead of themselves to try and beat the Atlanta FaZe, which is probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen, but we've seen miracles before. But I really do think that Atlanta FaZe is going to come out and 3-0 them again today. If we look at the Atlanta prices for the players, they're still at a premium. They're all pretty expensive, but now usually whenever I would target the Atlanta FaZe, I would ideally target Arcides as one of my main players, because Arcides is really one of the players who's always been slept on in the Atlanta FaZe. He's one of the players who posts the most consistent points out of anybody in the league, and he was consistently the cheapest in the Atlanta FaZe roster, along with Celium at times. So those two were pretty much my primary targets whenever targeting the Atlanta FaZe, and still trying to be contrarian to some point. But now Arcides is starting to catch up in price. Now DraftKings has started to catch up on the fact that he's actually a very good player. So now he's priced accordingly at 9,200 for the flex position and 13,800 for the captain position. Now, this doesn't affect Arcides himself, obviously, but I do think that now he's not as good of a value as he once was. Trending at lower prices, I don't think he's going to be that great of a value. At 9,200, I still feel like he's still good. If they 3-0 the Paris Legion at 9,200, he's going to be a pretty good at a pretty good price tag. But now he's not as good as he used to be. Celium at 9,600, he's a little bit more expensive from when he was yesterday at 9,400, I believe. I still think they're both obviously very good players, and if you want to target players from FaZe, I would say target these two. Simp and Abizi are obviously on target as well, but they are inherently more expensive on both the flex and the captain position. You can't go wrong with any of these players. I do believe a 3-0 is going to happen inevitably here against Paris. And with that being said, I'm going to be having a healthy amount of Atlanta FaZe across all my contests, and hopefully they can cash me in some lineups. With that being said, I really do think this is going to be a 3-0, so I don't want to spend much more time talking about this specific match. So I'd say let's go over and check out the Seattle Surge against the Florida Mutineers. So for this game against the Seattle Surge and the Florida Mutineers, we saw a completely different Seattle Surge step up at the LAN event for the previous Stage 4 Major. And, it caught us all by surprise because this team started to look pretty good, you know. Up until their last match that they lost, they put up a fight against Optic Chicago. They looked like a very superior team. And this player, Octane, right here, proved to himself and proved to everybody that he has what it takes to still hang, and he still has what it takes to fucking carry teams. And he was going absolutely nasty in the land portion of that stage. He was posting crazy numbers, and for the most part, he was actually destroying. He helped me catch in some lineups. I'm glad I took him on that. I'm glad I picked him up, for those specific matches where he went off. And as you can see here, he was like 5-1 in Search and Destroy against Optic. But other than that, now that they're back on internet, I do believe that Seattle Surge is gonna look more or less like they were looking before LAN, especially against a team like Florida. The line isn't sitting too separated. It's at a 185 for minus 185 for Florida, and it's at a plus 140 for Seattle Surge. So on paper, this matchup is very close, but I do think that it shouldn't be this close because I still think that on over the internet, I do think that Florida is the better team. Now, there still are some good values here on the Seattle Surge team, and I would say that those values would only be between either Gunless or Octane, not both. I do believe Seattle's going to lose this matchup, maybe by a 3-2, but I do believe they're going to lose. I feel like Gunless at 7,800 or 11,000 for the cap position might be a nice contrarian play. It all depends on how far they go, if they make it to a game 5 or not, and how much he slays at the end of the day. He posted his last 6 games. He's posted Gunless has posted upwards of 100 fantasy points in 3 games, so that's good for him. He's at a decent price for a team who's shown upside. Octane as well at 9,000. As you can see, his previous match against the Paris Legion was sitting at 150 fantasy points, which was absolutely ridiculous. The guy was going off, but it's yet to see if he can carry on that LAN energy back to online. Previous to that against London, he posted 149 points. It's safe to say that was mostly against lower caliber teams, but nevertheless they were doing good. With that being said, I don't think Octane is going to be my first pick here for this team against the Florida Mutineers. I would say that my only pick here would be a player like Gunless. I do believe he has upside in this position. As for Florida, I do believe that there are multiple key plays here that could actually potentially pay off, such as Havok and Neptune. Neptune is at $8,000 for the flex position, at $12,000 for the cap. Neptune is a solid player who, as well, of last 5 games, 4 of his games are upwards of 100 fantasy points. Dude's been producing a lot for his team. He's been a key player for them. And he's a rookie, so he has that energy in him. Havok as well. Havok isn't as consistent, but he is the cheapest one. This team, I don't think this is gonna be a 3-0. It might be, but I don't think it's going to be 3-0. I think this matchup might end up being in a sort of a 3-1 fashion. I do think that Awakening and Neptune might be the best plays here, though. Havok might be a nice contrarian play at captain spot if they do get the 3-0. As you can see, Havok over here, tall ass dude, right here. Oh, where is he? This guy right here. But yeah, Sky's at 14,100 for the captain position. Too expensive in my opinion. At 9,400, Skies could be a decent play. We'd have to see. Skies has been on an absolute tear. However, he hasn't posted a game under 100 fantasy points since they played the New York Subliners on the 14th of May. So it's been a while since that Skies has been on a absolute rip. But I do believe that eventually, he's going to fall. 9,400 though is a solid price for him, don't get me wrong. And if they get a 3-0, each one of these players is going to be a decent price. In my opinion, if I had to pick two players here, I would also look at Awakening. I almost forgot about Awakening. Awakening has been doing pretty good as well, 8,600. He's the one player whose price usually stays around the same amount. 8,600 is his, like, usual price tag. If I were to have to pick somebody here in this position, I would honestly have to pick either Neptune or Awakening, just because they're in the middle of the pack and they have good upside. Skies also has good upside, but I feel that at his price tag at the flex position, there are other players that are in better positions to capitalize on that premium of the price. So Awakening and Neptune, key plays here. I call it to be a 3-1 in favor of the Florida Mutineers. And with that being said, let's move on to the last matchup, the LA Guerrillas against the Dallas Empire. This Dallas team is starting to look very good, in my opinion, better than they have looked in the couple last stages without Hugh. They're starting to seem to have this rhythm, and the Vegas odds would imply that as well. Dallas Empire is sitting at a -900 against the LA Guerrillas, sitting at a -900 favorites. Guerrillas are sitting at a +475 underdogs. Vegas is telling you all you need to know. Dallas is, a very solid team in this position. LA Guerrillas have not been looking too great. I believe they did lose their match yesterday, and I do believe that Dallas has what it takes to 3-0 this team. Now, with that being said, I do believe that Illy at 11,400 and at 7,600 for the flex position is at a prime spot. Again, this is usually the price where he becomes a very solid option, especially against a team like the LA Guerrillas, who is favored to lose heavily. I believe that Illy becomes a very good pick here in this position, and I do feel that Illy and Vivid are at prime spots here. Vivid, as well as he's at $8,000 here for the position of flex, 8,000 and 12,000 for the captain position. Vivid has also been a little bit more consistent as of recent, and yeah, I do believe that key plays here in this position would probably be Illy and Vivid. Shotzi and Crimsix are also obviously the most expensive ones. Shotzi being a key play as well, 9,800. Shotzi's last 5 games have been incredible, upwards of 100 fantasy points and a couple 130 fantasy point games, and a couple 120 fantasy point games. So Shotzi's been on one recently, and yeah, I do believe that Dallas Empire is going to absolutely destroy the Guerrillas. So I would recommend targeting this game as well, in specific this team. My best picks, if I would have to pick one, if I would have to pick a ideal pick here, the most valuable play would probably be Illy. Illy or Crimsix. Crimsix is one of those players who goes off every once in a while, but when he goes off, he goes off. At 8,400 though, I do feel like there are other players in other positions that would probably have a better return. Illy, Shotzi, Vivid, Crimsix can go wrong with either of those, and yeah, I believe this is going to be a 3-0 in favor of the Dallas Empire. That is what I think is going to happen here for this matchup, and yeah, those are the 3 matchups that we're going to see here today on Saturday, the 10th of July. So tomorrow I'm going to be uploading my thoughts on the Sunday slates, Sunday slate 3 games, and I'll be discussing those in further detail as well. This was my breakdown for the Saturday games, and if you like this style of video where I break down my thoughts on specific matchups for the Call of Duty League and in the future other esports, you know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot. Click that notification bell so that you can get these videos before the matches start. That's if I make a video you'll get these videos on your inbox as soon as they come out, so you can watch them as soon as you can, so you can make the best informed decision, so that you can put yourself in a place where you can make money here on esports betting. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.